And slowly open the eyes. You know, in the meeting today, I was talking about victim consciousness and how the victim is always looking back, whereas God is always looking forward. Always a new creation coming from present moment awareness. So you see the victim's always looking behind. A place of resentment, disillusionment, not being good enough. It always has this negativity. When you're in the present moment, you have the capacity to dissolve everything in that place of consciousness. And once you dissolve it into the place of consciousness, you can let it go. And then from that space of love consciousness, we move forward. We move forward. We challenge our limitations. We let go. We let go of the past. And it's so easy to catch the trick of the ego, the trick of the victim. It's always repenting. And the energy is always like this. And it accumulates. Whereas the present moment awareness is always based in love. Creation is always based in love. But it has to come from that space, that place of non-judgment, that place of abundance, that place of freedom, that place where you're free to be yourself. So how do I get to that place? Well, firstly, I have to cultivate an experience of consciousness, no? So I can start to watch my thoughts. Because my thoughts are always the tool that take me into that place of victim. And then it activates the emotions, the pain, the memories, everything that's behind. And that's okay. But I have to feel it and let it go. Feel it and let it go. Stop listening to the story. Stop dwelling on the story. Stop taking a past moment into this perfectly good moment. You know, each new moment is a new canvas which you can paint the story of your life. And this is what you have to create. Something new, something more, something based in love. Stop looking back. Because evolution is always looking forward. Everything's moving forward. And you have to move with it. But from a place of love. Not from a place of competition or trying to prove myself. Just from a place of love, of you being the best you can be. Because that's all you can be. And that's more than sufficient. Because when you're the best of who you can be, you shine. You create. If you're comparing, you're never good enough. If you're just being the best of you, no one can be better than that. Because the best of you is the best of everyone. There's no best. There's just the best. And you are that perfection. how it should look, always comes from the head. Always come from the head. And it doesn't matter how successful you are, how beautiful you are, how talented you are, how rich you are, how whatever you are. If you don't love you and be the best of you without addition, you will never be happy. Never be happy. You know, I was thinking of Michael Jackson. What a phenomenal being. What a talent. What a gift from God. And he was never complete within himself. So exigente. Always wanting to be something else. And the rest of the world would die to be a tenth of what he had. But he couldn't see that. It was never enough. Never enough. And how many artists, how many successful people, how many beautiful people suffer the same thing? And we all do it in different levels. I am not enough. I mean, I remember myself, because I always achieved what I wanted. I was so stubborn and focused, I always achieved what I wanted. But I could see that I always got back to the same point. It had to be more, had to be better, had to be bigger. It was never enough. Never enough. And ultimately I realised that I was just trying to prove my worth. And I couldn't see. You know, I'd work on my body, never good enough. I'd do anything with my work or my competitions. I could be the best, never good enough. I could have gone faster, I could have been better, I could be this, I could be that. Nothing was good enough. Because I didn't love me. And I was trying to prove to you that I deserved love through being successful. But that love had to come from me. I couldn't even hear the external accolades. No. The praise, the appreciation. I couldn't hear it because I had a circle around my ears. I wasn't good enough. I just had that circle. It's not enough. Yeah, it's okay, but it can be better. I can be better. I can do more. And yet with other people, I was full of praise. The most minimal things, I just think are fabulous. I had all this praise externally. But for me, nothing. And you have to see that too. You have to catch this voice that loves to torture you. And you have to take that voice in, the voice of exigencia, and just start being gentle. Start being loving. Give the facets to those thoughts. The facets are like bombs for the ego. Kryptonite for the ego. We're talking about perfection. And the ego insists it is not attainable. It is not possible. It will never happen. And the facets touch on the ego because the facets are the truth of consciousness, of love, of creation, of unity, of enlightenment. And the facets touch that, and there's an internal explosion. And then all the emotions that are against the facet start to come to the surface. All the judgments, all the fears, and they start to be liberated. Okay, so your greatest friend is the facets. The voice, boom, boom, boom. And you don't even have to believe the facets. You don't have to believe they're going to explode. Just enter them and keep coming back. Keep coming back. Keep coming back to that place of consciousness until it becomes so big you start to laugh. You see your repetitive thoughts and you recognize them like old friends that don't exist anymore. Oh, yeah, I know that one. Oh, yeah, I've heard that one. Oh, yeah. And it will stop affecting you.
Can you talk about the stress that we talk about it so much?
The stress is all those low vibrations. All of those emotions that are stuck. All of those negative belief systems. Everything that's not vibrating in love consciousness, in unity, be it physical, be it emotional, that is stress. It's a generic term. It's emotional stress, physical stress. The facets vibrate here. They vibrate here. Now everything underneath that is still the same energy, but it's dense. It's a heavy energy because the whole world's created from the same energy. Love, high vibration, love, which we call fear, low vibration. Now the nature of love is to move towards the higher vibration. So as it's moving, everything that's maintaining that density starts to leave. There could be an emotion, it could be a physical pain, it could be a judgment, it could make you feel sick. It could be many things. It could be a painful memory. And everything has an emotional charge or physical. Why? Because the body is sustaining the illusion. How do I sustain the illusion? I have to have density. So the thoughts trigger something that create the illusion. I lose the present moment. I'm not anchored in consciousness. The victim comes in. Okay? It's always the same story. You know, love's light. It's fun. It's focused on praise, love and gratitude. And in the beginning, it's transient, no? You know, the fear is more prevalent. But as we liberate more and more and more, we start to experience more and more love. Within and without. I know that this is hard to comprehend because this is totally experiential. And you'll have experiences. And you'll see something and you'll go, oh, now I know what she's talking about. Now I know what she's talking about. But it has to come from you. It can't come... I just like knock on the door. But you have to open it, yeah? You have to open the door.
My question is, I have very bad temper. Sometimes I don't know how to control it. And obviously, I hurt the people I love the most. And sometimes I don't know what to do.
You know, first you have to stop judging yourself. But the thing is, you know, you have a lot of anguish. And you need to connect with it. The thing is, you protect yourself by getting angry, where you feel disqualified, or maybe not good enough. I don't know what happens for you exactly. But here, you have to go much deeper. For people, it's easy to get angry. There's always this deeper sadness. And you have to connect with that and move that. You know, and sometimes you'll get angry. It doesn't matter. It's part of your human experience. But if you're using it to push people away, then you have to work much deeper on that and connect with what's underneath. Yeah, that's all. And it will leave. And stop being so violent with you. Oh, I have this horrible personality. And you're sitting here giggling and smiling and, you know, you don't look too horrible to me. Yeah? Stop being violent with you. You have taken the decision that most people don't take. You've taken the decision to heal. And that's admirable. Yeah? And appreciate that. Yeah.
And my question is, I could love you to share with me the experience of creating and having the opportunity of creating all this system.
Okay. So, you know what? I never was going to be a spiritual teacher. I had no interest. I like horses. That was my interest. And I was desperate to be free. Because it didn't matter what I did, how I succeeded, as I was just telling you before, I didn't love myself. Nothing was good enough. Nothing. And I could see that I had this incredible fear of abandonment. I guess because I was adopted, no? But even so, most people have that fear. So I was so powerful, so successful, but the fear of abandonment made me compromise everywhere in my life, settle for less, not step into my power, always play small, trying to make other people feel comfortable. And I got to a point, I don't want to live like that. And I had a voice inside of me, a very powerful spiritual voice. And this was a person that didn't even know what spirituality was. I had no idea. I didn't know anything about enlightenment. I didn't know anything about anything. I was very innocent. And this voice was telling me, I have to wake up, that this suffering's an illusion, it's not who you are, you can live in freedom, and you can experience unconditional love. Throughout my life, I had had expansions in consciousness. I had a very clear vision, but I thought it was normal. I didn't realize that it was maybe a little bit different. I assumed everyone had the same thing. And these expansions gave me the clarity to trust in that voice. And that voice led me. It was that voice. In order to be divine, you have to be 100% human. In order to be free, you have to speak your truth. In order to love yourself, you have to be vulnerable. You have to feel your emotions. And because I never felt emotion. You know, I was very gringo, no? I didn't cry. I never got angry. Never. I stuffed everything. And I was to hear, because I had so many people die, so much disillusion in my life. You know, everything had happened to me. And I just started to follow that voice. And I was extremely innocent and very, very vulnerable. And I listened to everyone. I didn't have a specific teacher, but I listened to all teachers. Anyone, anything. Hungry, scared of making a mistake. And I just kept following in that direction. Expanding my consciousness. I let go of everything in Australia. Everything I let go of. Because all I wanted was freedom. I said, I don't care if I lose my career, my money, my properties, my this, my that. I don't care. I want to be free. And that was my focus. And now here I am. Yeah.
Lately, I have in my head this that is very hard to say what I feel because I'm afraid. Sometimes I try to say this, I don't like it. I have it in my head and it doesn't come out in words. I cannot speak it. Can you tell me something about it?
So you have to use the facets and you have to be spontaneous. And if you can't say it to the person, it doesn't matter. But the important thing is you move the energy. So if someone annoys you, you need to move the energy. And the teachers can teach you how to do that. Because the important thing is to become empty and not to accumulate. And you know, you're at an age now where you can make a choice and you can be free because you don't need to accumulate all the same rubbish we accumulated. And you have to learn to feel your emotions and talk to the teachers. And then you'll start to find this internal clarity, which is innate in young people. It's just there. It comes because you don't have all the rubbish on top. So it's a fabulous thing. But if you're scared, just move the energy or go and talk to the teacher. But don't stuff it.
My name is Angelica. I do events here in Mexico. And for many years, I had been a high level of stress. And I'm choleric, ragey, because in some situations of a lot of pressure during the event. My question is, working with the facets, and I'm here to empty what you just said to her. How can I work in a situation, temporary situation of stress? I don't see myself like something strong happens and I will be, praise love.
You have to move it. It doesn't even matter if you're in a work situation. You have to go and move your stress. go into the bathroom, scream into your arm. You have to be constantly moving until you're empty. But stop defining yourself. It's an aspect of what you're experiencing. But it's not who you are. You know, just move it. Maybe you have a strong character. Maybe even when you're completely empty, you'll still have that energy. And you have to learn to love it. Like you're judging it. And you just have to love yourself exactly as you are. But instead of projecting onto other people, take responsibility to move it. That's all. You'll learn here what to do. Okay. So be loving with you.
Come visit our webpage for books, movies, and our wonderful retreat centers. Isha's simple yet powerful system is transforming lives around the world.